Welcome back. Great to have you with us on SABC's Prime News. I'm Francis Hurd. The Inspector General of Intelligence, Setlhoma-maru Dintwe, will reportedly proceed with his court action against a controversial spy boss, Arthur Fraser. Fraser was appointed by former President Jacob Zuma as Director General of the State Security Agency in 2016, with access to troves of intelligence and state secrets, but he's now been moved to the Department of Correctional Services after consultations with the President and the Minister of State Security. Well, Dintwe launched an application last week to bar Fraser from interfering with his duties. It is the role of the Inspector General to investigate intelligence officials as an oversight body appointed by Parliament, but Dintwe says that Fraser revoked his security clearance in a move to scupper him. Well, according to claims made in Jacques Pauw's book, The President's Keepers, Fraser headed a parallel investigative network in a previous position at the security agency, and it's been followed around by claims of theft and corruption. Jacques Pauw, of course, joins us on the line now. Thank you for being with us. Jacques, tell us about the man that you think we're dealing with here in Arthur Fraser.
Well, from 2007 until 2010, for almost 3 years, Arthur Fraser ran a parallel intelligence network at State Security. This parallel intelligence network was called PAN, Principal Agent Network, and over a period of 3 years, they wasted R1 billion of taxpayers' money. 2 investigations were conducted about the PAN project. One, an internal investigation in State Security, the other one by the previous Inspector General. They both found that there were fraud and corruption. The Inspector General, Dintwe's predecessor, Advocate Faith Hadebe, found that Fraser had scant management skills. The internal State Security investigation said that Fraser might be prosecuted for treason because of the parallel intelligence network that he created. And these were the allegations that were investigated by Dr. Dintwe, who's the current Inspector General of Intelligence. And this was the investigation that Arthur Fraser tried to stop.
If there were previous credible investigations, this isn't just claims, how did he hold this powerful position of Director General of the State Security Agency until now?
Well, what happened is during the investigation during the internal investigation at State Security, Arthur Fraser resigned and he went into private business. He was then appointed in September 2016 by then State Security Minister David Mashlobo and then President Jacob Zuma. Now, when they appointed Arthur Fraser, they had in their possession these reports that pointed to him as being complicit in fraud, corruption, and the wastage of money. Now, the reason why Fraser was appointed dates back to 2007, when he was then the Deputy Director General, and according to a story in the Mail and Guardian then, he was the person that handed the so-called spy tapes to Jacob Zuma that enabled the President to avoid prosecution until about a month ago, when he finally appeared in court again. It is incredible that Mashlobo and Jacob Zuma appointed a man who, according to very credible investigations, might have been implicated in treason. So it was clearly payback time when he was appointed. He should never have been appointed. He should have been standing trial. These reports were never released. I had some of the reports and I published them in my book, which led to the fact that Arthur Fraser has instituted criminal charges against me. And he also tried to ban the book and remove it from the shelves.
All right, so he may still be charged with treason. In the meantime, you've suggested that the current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, is a bit scared of him. That's why he's being moved. He's not being removed.
Well, there were discussions between the president and Arthur Fraser, and I have heard from very good sources that there was a discussion around his resignation as the Director General of State Security, but that Cyril Ramaphosa said to him that he should stay on, and then he was moved to Correctional Services. I've been told that Ramaphosa wanted to keep him in the fold, that he wanted to shift him to a position in government where he could keep an eye on him, and that he was concerned that should he suspend Arthur Fraser, or should he accept a resignation, that Arthur Fraser would be out in the cold and that he might go rogue, and that the president and his advisors felt in the end that it was better to shift Ramaphosa to shift Fraser to a position where he cannot cause much harm at the moment.
And does this dilute his influence, Jacques? Could he still be pulling the puppet strings from behind the scenes in intelligence?
Well, it's also interesting that the man who was appointed as the Acting Director General of State Security, Mr. Jacques Pauw, was appointed from outside the agency. That number 2 and number 3 in State Security was not appointed as the Acting Director General because they're close associates of Arthur Fraser. So I'm sure that Fraser would be carefully monitored, and so would his cronies in State Security would certainly be very carefully monitored. I think Arthur Fraser is a very dangerous man, and that it was absolutely necessary for the president to remove him.
Finally, the Inspector General still wants to go after him. Are you confident that will lead to a successful prosecution?
Well, you know, the Inspector General is going to court tomorrow in an attempt to get, that Arthur Fraser suspended Dr. Dintwe's security clearance in an effort to stop Dr. Dintwe from investigating him. While the Inspector General is going to court tomorrow, I'm sure that Dr. Dintwe's application will not be opposed anymore, and he will therefore be able to continue his investigation against Mr. Fraser, and I think the prosecution of Arthur Fraser is imminent.
All right, thank you very much. Author of The President's Keepers himself, pursued by intelligence officials, Jacques Pauw.